Welcome to the Weekly Leader with your host, David Guerra.
Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Weekly Leader. I am your host, David Guerra, and you know the premise. I take one notable event from the past week, I break it down, and I add my leadership spin. Next, I take one leadership concept, break it down, and I also add my leadership spin to it. So now with that out of the way, let's get started. The biggest story on the planet right now, this week. The United Kingdom's longest reigning monarch passed away this week at the age of 96. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II died on Thursday, September 8, 2022, after 70 years and 214 days on the throne. Did you know that Queen Elizabeth II was the longest serving of any British monarch and the second longest recorded of any monarch of a sovereign country? Now, while the untimely death of the Queen was not expected, it was, however, it was not expected, and it was, well, still unexpected. It was reported that she was performing her duties as the monarch of the United Kingdom just up to the last day. The Queen certainly took her role as a royal quite seriously, and even into her advanced age to continue to take on such responsibilities is certainly befitting a true and authentic leader. And of course, there is one thing that is certain with almost any monarchy. There is a continuation of the monarchy due to lineage of succession. And as the Queen took her last breath and her oldest child, Prince Charles, became the new sovereign, King of the United Kingdom. Now, while the nation mourns the loss of its queen, in private, the new king and the entire family will mourn the loss of their mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. As the leader of the United Kingdom, King Charles III must now put on a brave face to ensure that, well, things are continuing to move along as this major event has changed the United Kingdom forever. Now, please know that while the United Kingdom has a constitutional monarchy and the powers of that monarchy are very limited, however, the nation, the kingdom, still looks to the royals as part of their governing leadership. Now, the issue here is when change is occurring, unfolding, or has passed, the need for the organization's leadership to maintain a level head and show a side of unity and strength is a must, if for nothing more than to just reassure those that follow the leaders, put them at ease. And of course, in uncertain times, the strong side shown makes a world of difference, especially when the uncertainty is impacting the leaders themselves most directly. So with that, that being said, I wish King Charles III all the best, the United Kingdom all the best going into the future. Now, in this week's leadership concept, I'm going to talk about relationships, more concisely what not to do when it comes to relationship building, both in a professional and personal setting. See, last week I mentioned the focus on communication when it comes to having those difficult conversations. Well, this week is no exception, another difficult conversation. See, when it comes to team building, great teams, great relationships, all members of the team, everyone in that relationship must put in the work together. Work to be heard, work to be understood, to understand others, and most of all, to give and to get respect. And for those that are a little less informed, respect is a two-way street. When all sides give and get respect constantly and consistently, the basis, the foundation for a great, long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationship is created. But do you know what is not respectful nor beneficial? When one or more individuals in a team, a group, a department, or in a relationship would rather play games against the other members of the team, the group, the department, or sadly, a relationship. See, a game of one-upping the other because that is all they know when it comes to dealing with conflict and resolving issues. Instead of trying to actually resolve them, they would rather inflict more pain and needless suffering by increasing the severity. And yes, I'm talking about the tit-for-tat. Now, tit-for-tat is defined as, quote, the infliction of an injury or insult in return for one that has suffered, end quote. Now, when there is discourse of this caliber, the tit-for-tat mentality is firmly in place. A great relationship can never be formed as all respect has gone out the window and into the deep end of the cesspool. Now, if you're still not sure on the definition, let me put it this way. Imagine a room with two little children in it, child one, child two. Soon, child one either intentionally or unintendedly hits child two. That's children so often do. So child two hits child one in response. Then child one, with the child's mentality, responds in kind and hits child two, forgetting that it was child one that threw the first blow, that struck first. And of course, this exchange, or tit for tat, escalates, and before you know it, child one has a bloody nose and child two has a black eye. All because, as children, with children mentality, do not know any better, and other than just giving back what they got from the other. Now, we can excuse children for being children with childish behaviors and attitudes. And of course, children do not know any better. Yet, there are far too many adults in age that still lack the adult mindset and adult mentality to realize that behaving in a tit-for-tat manner is not the way to become a great individual. And they will never be great because that is their only go-to reaction when it comes to dealing with what they perceive as an affront or as an assault on them or to them. And for those only known to respond in a tit-for-tat manner are plain and simple bullies. And in the year 2022, getting ready to go into 2023, are we still seriously dealing with bullies? Seriously, in this day and age, there is absolutely no reason to allow bullies in the workplace, in social settings, in schools, and in personal relationships. We cannot allow that to continue. See, being a bully, playing the tit-for-tat game is something children do. Current and future leaders, there is no excuse to be playing children's games, especially when you and those around you want the same end result. A great team, a great relationship, and most of all, a great life. And leaders, why would you allow such toxicity to strip you of your leadership and turn your team, your group, your relationship into a hot, steamy pile of what you find at the bottom of a cesspool? See, no one goes into any relationship with the intention of burning it down. Well, probably those adults with a mentality of a 7-year-old might like to do that, but no reasonable adult would. People start relationships, join teams with the intention to be great and to be part of something greater than themselves. That is why, as leaders, it certainly behooves you to keep those tit-for-tat individuals in check, as those kind of individuals will sneak in or weasel their way into your team, your group, your relationship, and those tit-for-tat individuals are without a doubt toxic. And in case no one told you, toxicity in any relationship, personal or professional, is certainly not beneficial to the growth of a strong, positive, successful team or group or individual. Now remember, if it's left unchecked, toxicity in a team or relationship will only serve to create more toxicity within that team if the leader allows it to continue. So current and future leaders, the sooner you identify and actually deal with the toxicity, the better off you and those around you will be. See, the sooner you deal with those with the childish mindset and behavior of tit for tat, the sooner your team or relationship can get back on track. A track of continued growth, success, and ultimately greatness. Remember, great teams, great relationships are made by great people. In history, there has never been a great team that's had a toxic bully. It doesn't work that way. And folks, just keep that in mind. And on that note, I thank you for watching this week's episode. I invite you to come back for next week's episode. And I also invite you to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks a lot. Take care. Dave out.